Another one, a detached bought at the top of the market in 2022 for $1.8 million. 2 years later, sold for $650,000 loss. And it's another power of sale or foreclosure, whatever you want to call it. People losing their homes, essentially. We've got more unbelievable losses in the Canadian housing market, and we've just got loads and loads of foreclosures, essentially. So let's get into what is happening here. So the outer GTA is getting absolutely hammered, and they've been trying to sell this home for months, and what looks like a really nice home, it's basically just sold for a near 20% loss, 19.55%. So again, it's just showing these people bought in 2023. It's now 2025, and they're taking a $360,000 loss in this Canadian housing market. People are being absolutely and just more and more markets are going to be affected by this implosion. So it is just absolutely crazy what is going on. And then you've got houses going back to 2016 levels. When you think about all the inflation that's happened over the past 9 years since 2016, you've got to think, well, it's absolutely crazy to go back to those 2016 pricing, but this house did. So it just sold for $1.44 million. So that's a 2.7% loss. But just think about the time, because it's really time in the market that is absolutely destroying people. Little did they know or understand, because you have to understand how inflation is eating away at every dollar you earn every year, the longer you hold it. And in real estate, it's even worse, as we are seeing. If you just put the money in cash, you would have done better than in this house here. So again, it's just showing really what happened there. And horror in Halton Hills, Ontario, another horrific power of sale and loss in the GTA on a property that was bought in the euphoria of the 2022 peak. This has been on the market for more than 6 months. Finally, the lender capitulated and let it go for $750,000 under what the buyers bought it for. And this is a really nice house, but guess what? This house just sold for $1.86 million, and it was bought for $2.6 million. So this is a huge loss of 28%. But again, as we've looked on Gemini, as we've looked on Warren AI, depending on how you want to look at a more realistic version of inflation, you're looking between 20 and 40% inflation since 2022. So just add on that 20% and already you're at near 50% loss. That is just crazy. So people who bought this house and they took this money out, I mean, they're taking even less because the bank is probably trying to take them to court. That's if they're even still doing that right now, because they must have so many legal court cases going on right now over these losses, because more and more power of sales just keep happening, breaking new loss territory back to 2016 prices in Toronto. 300,000 wiped out in 4 months. This one was bought in January of 2025 for more than $2.7 million. The owners just sold it for a whopping $300,000 loss. If you add on Toronto's mega land transfer tax of $100,000 and probably real estate commissions of $100,000, this loss would be close to a cool $500,000 in 4 months. So it's absolutely crazy. And here you go. So it sold for $2.4 million in 2016, just sold for $2.4 million and $2,900. I mean, it's absolutely crazy what is happening. And they bought it for $2.72 million. They paid way over, and this was in 2025. So when you're in a real estate downturn like Canada is in, just realize that things can change so quickly. You can lose $500,000 before you even know it. It's just crazy how fast people are losing money in this housing market implosion. And it's happening mainly right now in those core frothy bubble areas that were just booming in 2021. But those places that were booming in 2024 before, like Calgary, like Montreal, oh, they're going to see their day soon. I can tell you that. So it's absolutely crazy. And on again, Oshawa obliteration. The deluge of losses continues unabated. Another one, a detached bought at the top of the market in 2022 for $1.8 million. 2 years later, sold for $650,000 loss. And it's another power of sale or foreclosure, whatever you want to call it. People losing their homes, essentially. That is what continues to happen because this housing market bubble just continues to implode. So let's take a look at when they bought it here. They bought it in 2022 for that $1.81 million, and it just sold for $1.1 million. You can see they tried to sell it a bunch of times here, even for a loss. So they were trying to sell at a loss and they still couldn't sell. And they even realized they made a mistake or they lost their job. Their financial circumstances changed in 2022 and they realized at the end of 2022, but they couldn't sell it for even $1.7 million. So this really shows how the housing market has gone down, and all those realtors, all those mortgage brokers that were saying, oh, this year is going to be the boom, this year is going to be the boom, this year is going to be the boom. I mean, just look at the prices in these GTA areas are just being absolutely smashed up. And it's not just the GTA. Remember, this is Toronto, the crown jewel of the Canadian housing bubble, with Vancouver just behind it. So you really know what is going on here. So $650,000 loss again. I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. That's a 35% loss. Tack on inflation, you're at over 55% for that loss. So again, just shows this is taking a bath in Waterdown. Bought in 2023 after the market peaked. Somebody paid $1.2 million for a semi in Waterdown, and then the lender took it and sold it for a $300,000 loss. This is another power of sale foreclosure, another person losing their home here, and that sold for 26% loss. But you add on inflation again, you're at 46% loss. I mean, that's just crazy. And that is using low inflation numbers. Do you really think in the past 3 years that inflation has been 20%? Or do you think it's been more like 30, 40%? Because then these numbers get even higher. And it just goes to show how much money has evaporated in this housing market implosion. And that's the real truth here. $1.4 million loss in 900 days, 3 years essentially, nearly. Power of sale, power of fuck. Welcome to the Canadian real estate. And this is just an insane one. So this one is another power of sale and it's a 43% loss. So put on that 20%, you're at 63% loss. I mean, this is one of the big ones and I wanted to show it you because again, these bigger houses, these luxury homes, these are meant to be the millionaires who are moving into these homes. So why on earth are they losing them? And it again just shows that everybody, no matter where you are on the budget scale, is being hit here, and especially those luxury homes. Well, when the housing market tanks, they tank even harder because they are way more illiquid than other homes. But we know what's happening with the condo situation because here it is from my good buddy John Flynn here. These assignment sale condos are getting desperate. $291,000, almost 40% off the original price. Follow his ex on YouTube. I know you probably already do, but he's just posting great content. And again, this is just showing where the developers are at. And we've already discussed, you know, how the banks have ramped up lending to these developers that can't unload all these condos. So it's just a financial crisis in the making here. And what's the final thing that we need to look at in order to conclude this and to kind of see where that housing market is going to end up? Well, we have to look at the rent report. And the rent report looks like a complete disaster. And you can see here that Vancouver rents year over year down 5.9%, Toronto down 6.7%, Halifax is the only market up here, Montreal is down 3.4%. Again, this is another boom town where the housing market went crazy later and for longer, and now you've got rents backpedaling. So all the investors are going to start to try and exit that market or hold the bag there. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on. Calgary down 10%. I mean, again, I've posted on X how migration is absolutely tanking in Calgary, all that interprovincial migration. People have been sold down the river by another government propaganda campaign by the UCP government of Move to Alberta. So many people believed it. I can't believe how many people are brainwashed by government propaganda still continually in 2025. Edmonton is off 1.3%, Winnipeg down 0.4%, Regina off 0.7%. So all these rental markets that are down right now, they spell trouble for the housing market. And you got Calgary leading the way. That was another booming market. So what does that tell you about the future of the housing market there when investors were the one who pumped up that market? So anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, I'd highly recommend that you check out this video here. And then if you're looking for a VPN, also want to support the channel, check out the links in the description. I will see you in the next one. Take care.